Consider a hostage situation where the weapon isn't a firearm, but a bank account, and the captor is the family's own daughter-in-law. This wasn't always the case. The family once held significant generational wealth, but a single fraudulent business deal wiped them out. To survive, they became entirely dependent on the financial support provided by Barkha's wealthy father. Barkha soon realizes that her money is a permission slip for cruelty. She begins micromanaging the smallest details of life, even shaming the mother-in-law for wanting to serve paneer at a birthday dinner, reminding her that every luxury in the house is a gift Barkha's father provided. The fear of returning to the streets forces the family into total submission. The mother-in-law and brother-in-law remain silent bystanders to their own humiliation, trading their dignity for the certainty of a roof over their heads. Gratitude for financial help has fully mutated into a form of domestic colonization. In this house, the silence of the family has effectively put a price tag on Barkha's right to abuse them. To solidify her monopoly on power, Barkha turns her attention to her brother-in-law's marriage. She sees an opportunity to ensure that no one else in the house will ever have the resources to challenge her. This is the household's new social architecture. Barkha sits at the apex, controlling the flow of capital. At the very bottom, she places Vani, a girl she intentionally recruited from a background of extreme poverty to serve as a zero-cost asset with no external support system. While the family expects a new relative, Barkha is effectively hiring an indentured servant. By selecting someone who is entirely dependent on the household's survival, she ensures her dominance remains absolute. This isn't just a marriage, it's a strategic import. Barkha has successfully isolated the family from any potential new money influence that might have restored their independence. Barkha begins to probe the limits of her influence, systematically increasing the demands she places on Vani, starting with the impossible task of preparing an elaborate feast for 60 guests entirely alone. When the family watches Vani struggle and says nothing, Barkha's confidence grows. Their silence serves as a green light, convincing her that her financial leverage has made her immune to consequences. This graph tracks the inevitable path of unchecked power. As Barkha forces Vani to walk miles in the midday sun and scrub a concrete roof barefoot, the red line of abuse climbs. Yet the blue line representing family intervention remains flat at 0. Even when a neighbor notices Vani's physical collapse and tries to step in, the intervention is short-lived. Barkha's territorial rage crushes the external help, and the resulting spike in the red line shows how much more dangerous the abuse becomes when the abuser realizes no one can stop them. Domestic tyranny, when met with no resistance, rarely stays at the level of bullying. It eventually detaches from logic entirely, evolving into a state of unchecked psychological madness. The violent breaking point is triggered by something microscopic. Vani serves Barkha a glass of water that is slightly too warm. To Barkha, this minor oversight is a personal insurrection. She has become so obsessed with total compliance that her reaction is completely disconnected from the offense. Barkha drags Vani into the kitchen and heats a pot to a rolling boil. In a moment of pure sadistic intent, she submerges Vani's hands and feet in the scalding water, causing catastrophic third-degree burns. Barkha has moved beyond the realm of family toxicity. With this act, she has entered the territory of attempted murder. Vani's screams finally accomplish what years of quiet humiliation couldn't. They shatter the family's paralysis. Her husband and brother-in-law finally act, rushing her to the hospital. The arrival of the police and Barkha's own parents brings the household's private horror into the public light. Her father, seeing the physical reality of Vani's injuries, is forced to condemn his own daughter's actions. Barkha's world suddenly shrinks. Her wealth can buy many things, but it cannot stop a criminal investigation once the physical evidence of her cruelty is documented by the state. The violent extreme of her actions has instantly dissolved her financial leverage. In the face of a potential prison sentence, the illusion of her untouchability evaporates. But then comes the story's final subversion. When the police ask Vani for a formal statement, she lies. She claims the injuries were a kitchen accident, shielding Barkha from immediate arrest. This choice places Barkha in a position that her wealth cannot fix. For years, she used money to buy silence and service. Now, she is confronted with a debt of kindness that gold cannot settle. For Barkha, this is the first time her worldview is challenged. She expected her victim to destroy her, using the police to take her down. When Vani instead uses her pain to protect the family, Barkha's entire framework of superiority collapses. She is forced to see that the person she treated as a zero-cost asset possessed a strength of character she could never buy. The family dynamic finally shifts, not because the bank accounts have balanced, but because one member refused to return the violence she received, forcing the abuser to finally look in the mirror.